free to chat, you're free to do whatever. Just basically, yeah, I didn't take the same path I had to go. I look blind everywhere. There are some things that my brain just naturally will question, but this is because these are things you can sell or give to others to inherit. As limited in fillable gas. Still never can figure that one out. Okay.
The house was exactly like I remembered it, the way I'd been dreaming about it.
Architecturally, this is very likely to fall. I mean, you can go very high on stilts, but you still have wind, and so these have flat faces to really go for a good push on it. I'm not very good at architecture, I'm very bad at it. But, yeah. That's a bit of a problem to me. Though at the same time, I'm still enjoying things like these flowers. Yeah, I figured out how to zoom on this one. It's nice for solving. But, yeah, you can see these missing posters are swarmed from there. I think I have an idea as to why there's so many where they are, but there are still questions. So I was like taking this little small path here. Okay, yeah. Little cans here. Chairs, oish. Ah, this actually sounds like that my noise setting I put on. I'm not sure if it's Jack's about that, but it was actually very helpful. I put my niece to sleep a few times with it. Yeah, try the fairy pond setting, it's very much the sound.
I asked Edie once about the dragon in the pond. She said it had killed her husband. I was 6. It seemed like an odd joke to me, even then.
I have never gotten that bit of dialogue here. Ever. Ignoring the spaghetti sauce, ignoring the spaghetti sauce. Okay. Let's get a kind of look again.
As a child, the house made me uncomfortable in a way I couldn't put into words.
Let's see, that gigantic, at least for me as a kid, I have a fear of heights. And I was very klutzy, so fear of heights comes with the natural territory. I literally have a perspective issue, so I sometimes can't see things for the distance they really are. So something that's really far away looks really close. So yeah, I can kind of get where a kid would have a problem with this. Yeah. I'm almost wondering, is this like foxglove or something? I'm not quite sure. I keep forgetting this one. I'm not sure what's native to the Washington wilderness. Should pay attention more to those, to that sports places, anyways, maybe I might have learned something or read one of the books they had there. So usually to get the particular dialogue, I have to be up here. This is the only place I ever got it before. But being here, I'm wondering, so these chairs have all blown away. If I see any, I think I've seen some other chairs where I go, they should have already been blown away as well. I mean, this table should be, and I was never really homeowner, so...
I knew exactly what those words were. I was afraid of the house.
So for me, I grew up in a very large house, so some of these things are kind of where I get that, I can get the kind of that intimidation, but it feels more like home to me because this is something I came from. For other people, this may be a little bit of an intimidating house, but I'm going, except for the upper stories, if you just have the 2, 3, 4 layers, yeah, the height's not that hot to me. What's odd is how it's being held together. So just gonna come up with the butch.
I hoped the key might unlock the front door. It didn't. Walking in, I felt like the house itself had been waiting for me.
And in all honesty, this, when people may go, but this might be the curse, I go, no, this is a good sign. It's, now these are very common feelings. Oh my god, I love these things. We kind of actually have like one that stands independently, but these are swings that, if you don't have a swing, a kid will be just content with this, but this is a great way if you just need to fall asleep outside. So on one of these, you'll fall asleep quick. Especially put a cushion. That one not as comfortable. The ones I had, and then get a cushion on that. And I just love this name for some reason. Let me see, what is it called? Macromax. Macromax. Big, big. If I could give a guess, I think one might be Greek, and the max I think is actually Latin, but again, I don't know my languages that well. I'm just kind of, right now, testing, as I said, but I'm kind of doing some theories with it. This is just to see how well I can kind of perfect this. Yeah, there's a lot of ways in and around this, but that was my way. You could actually just come straight up to this point and go in, but I always try to find every little clue I can. Anything that might just be out of the ordinary enough to give me one little hint as to maybe what's going on here. Okay, for you just joining, I'm right now just kind of doing a test run here. This is nothing serious. I'm just kind of trying to see if I can perfect this system here. At it, and just kind of playing with one of my favorite games and trying to figure out the mysteries that I can here. Like I always do. I don't know why I keep doing it. I also don't know why this is the first interest I think of. Or the first way I think of getting in here.
Crawling through the doggy door used to be a lot easier when I was 11.
Oh, darn, why do I never notice these things until after?
The power had been turned off the night we left.
Because, yeah, it does look like they actually cleaned one thing out here. Somebody had to come back and clean that out, unless they did that earlier. Okay, rolls. And my favorite thing right here. This is what I think every garage needs for we who have perception issues. Tennis ball. Tells us how far forward we can go. And not disrupt from the back or the front or hit something. Okay, get around the things there. Get around the bikes. Beautiful bikes here. Oh, look at the little fish. Sea animals, I want to go play some Abzu now. But I gotta stick with what I started with. Oh, light up light switches, I love these. It's a lot easier to find it at night. Didn't have that in my last house, that was not as pleasant. That's all I remember.
For the first time in years.
Apparently since 2010, so there you go. Pretty close to our year. And since it was 7 years, so this means probably 2017, 2016?
I felt like I was home.
Well, that's the thing, is I love this part of that it feels like you just walked in. For me, this is something that shows me how you lived, how you worked. Things that you were doing and didn't do. These are the better clues as to what you leave behind, how you leave them behind. Yeah, I know. I know. Do you have to keep being here? Okay, just take you a little bit like this. Just gonna scooch over. Okay, you come over here. Okay, there we go. That's better. Okay.
But instead of a family, there were just memories of one.
Aww, with the little letters. So the last time that anyone was here was probably in November. Hey, look! It's my uncle's birthday, minus the date, minus the year. I died near my uncle's birthday. Oh, the Curtis, there you go. You can join me in the having a lot of people die on your birthday. Okay.
Like how after Lewis started working at the cannery, we all got sick of eating salmon. Except our cat, Molly.
And I wouldn't either. Lewis, bring me all your... Somebody give me all these cans. I want all these cans now. I see free fish. Yummy, yummy. Okay, and I have played through this game before, for anybody questioning. I have. Many times, but it still leaves me with mysteries, no matter how many times I play it. Okay, and now I want to try that, except for my mom, I know, has one of the best apple pie recipes. But this is making me question, maybe I could try something a little different, though it sounds very similar. Wait a second. Okay, maybe a little too similar. I think somebody might have been looking in a recipe. And I love all the different cookbooks you can find here. I'm not going to be looking at all of them. They don't normally tell me as much for what I need. That's more of a wiki thing to use. So if you're to find out more about these guys, I recommend go look at the wiki. Well, this tells you kind of something. So usually your water filter, okay, the basic pitcher for this kind of water you usually would keep in the fridge or be filled with water, so this is either prep for moving or something more. I'm not quite sure. That's just pizza sauce, defrosting. Okay, gonna go click on this.
Only one restaurant would deliver to our house, so we had Chinese a lot.
Well, cheers to them, but I'm sorry, how is this not already crawling with insects? I'm not the neatest person, but this put me to shame. Alright, we're gonna just kind of look around here. Okay, turn a little bit. Okay, already liking. I mean, I understand that it's probably for a large family, but they have a floor-slotted oven, a floor-slotted toaster. It looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You put 6 slices in there. One go. Nice. Oh, okay. Who cares? If there's more than one oven, it's already amazing. That is a given. Trust it. If you cook, you know one thing. Especially if you're a baker, you'll know you always need more than one oven. You can do 2 ovens, but it's a lot more of a balancing act. Simpler, just do that. Getting enough burners on there. Oh, okay. See, this is more my mom thing. Oh, and it even has a little griddle area. Okay, my mom will love this. What's interesting is we're seeing these dishes out. So I got these dishes here, but we're going to be going into the other room where that wouldn't make as much sense. And there's our Molly bowls. Some things that are kind of trying to give you a hint to look at. To a person just joining, I'm just kind of doing a little bit of a test stream here. It's nothing serious. I'm just kind of wandering around, gathering information for this house, but I'm also kind of doing this to kind of test my system a little bit. Already changed this little outside here. And just, again, goofing off.
The table was still a wreck from the night we left.
Yes, it is. It's a very, very, very large wreck, it seems. The way I would put this is like either somebody got manhandled or... yeah, earthquake. That's pretty much the only 2 ways I could see that happening. I mean, that's a lot of force to break that plate. You know, what kind of
porcelain? It was like a bomb
had
gone off, killing everyone but sparing the furniture.
Yeah. And again, we have food here. that a kid, why is there no insects all over this place? There should be insects everywhere, crawling there, crawling over there. This is disgusting. Most games at least would have some cockroaches surrounding around here. I mean, I know why they don't, but seriously. And you can clearly see that you have about 2 to 3 other places that have just been eaten here in the morning period, or an afternoon period. And as we get nearing to the end of the story, I can't fully make sense of it. I can't. Oh, you don't even take your kids' dishes. Oh, you're going to see why I kind of am getting very judgy as we go along. For those who do not know this game, you'll know why soon enough. But yeah, for those though who have had seniors in their generations, this story may hit a bit for you.
My mom was the only one of us who could imagine Great-Grandma Edie living in a nursing home.
And that's the thing. We also kind of, so my family, we had to do that with my grandmother. It was, you know, we all had to pitch and try to make it so she didn't have to live in that kind of situation. She could be with family. She could live the life she wanted. And especially to my California relatives. You guys did an amazing job with her, and thank you for making sure that this didn't happen. We weren't able to provide for her as well as my California relatives, and as far as I know, her last years of life, they were great. Thanks to them. So once more, I'm saying thank you to you. Every time I play this game, I think of you guys. And the sacrifices that you guys were willing to make. So yeah, again, you can see now why I love this one. And while I would love to take time to examine all the pictures on the walls, maybe see if we can get some, you know, symbolism that comes from them, I really haven't found too much that seems to indicate, oh, this is the importance of it. Because these are photos that are repeated. It's more in the amount that we can tell, that it's more loving to relive the memory. It's very similar to when you put up photos of your family. Like, on me over here, there's actually a big old picture of just different adventures we've had as a family. And we have them scattered throughout the house. I can understand it. It's a way to relive the person. Not even so much the memory as the person.
Nothing in the house looked abnormal. There was just too much of it. Like a smile with too many teeth.
One of our ways of putting this is eclectic.
Even the fireplace had a story. Edie told me the bricks came from the original house, after it sank.
Well, I'd love to know... Oh, I love that effect. Oh, they even put like a little dust cloud right there. Oh, that was nice. Okay, so yeah. These guys love their books. This is my dream house. Please someone make this house for me. I love it. With this many books, I will be in heaven for a long time. And then just put one little, put a PS4, maybe a Switch right there. We're good for the rest of our lifetimes. As much as I may be a gamer, I am also a reader. If I'm not reading a book, I'm listening to a book. So often throughout work, it's just one book, and I make sure it's as big as I can get it. Though I really just need to put my Count of Monte Cristo in that. Yeah, that'd be a fun one to listen to. Unless has a really nice way of writing. Yep. Trying to remember who we think. I think this one, in all honesty, I wonder if maybe this is actually 3 kids. This could be Don, I'm not sure. So that's what I mean, is that we also don't have clear identifiers of who's who. We can only give good guesses based off the stories that we'll be getting into. And one of these stories, the one that catches most people's attention, I have something there that I noticed that it seems no one else did. Not to get at you guys, you're awesome, but you theorizers, there is something you guys don't know, and this might be because how I was raised. I and more particularly the area I was raised, this could explain some things. So let's first kind of get out of this area and just listen to some of the things here.
Mom always told me to stay out of the basement, so I wasn't too surprised when the key didn't fit. Great-Grandpa Sven built a music box for Barbara, along with the rest of the house.
Okay, so please take note of what's on the interior of this for those who have not played this game. Take note of the little interior. It's very clean. Okay, just gonna kind of keep looking. Okay, this one is one of the few photos we do know. This is our main character in here, the one being held. Okay. See, there's a shortcut here if you didn't want to go through the rest of the house.
My mom wasn't much of an optimist, but she never stopped believing that my brother Milton was alive.
Okay, at least according to Jan Sparrow, he might be. We'll get into that as we get closer to him.
A lot of things got left behind in the whirlwind of that last night.
Okay. Though apparently he was able to put everything right back. You'll see what I'm talking about later.
Edie told me once that every Finch who ever lived is buried somewhere in the library.
Again, dream house, please make for me. And for when I'm older, there you go. Edon, Milton, Edith. A lot of time you note that they tend to... Yeah, that's not something you see as often. I'm not sure. I can't exactly express what I kind of just noted. At least not yet.
After Milton disappeared, Mom sealed up all the bedrooms. Then Edie retaliated and drilled peepholes.
Which we will be looking into. First up, I want to point out this. I've only seen this one other time. After my uncle died, my grandmother had one of the local ladies go and paint one of his saws, and pretty much in the same fashion as this, you know, the old country kind of scene in the background. I was amazed when I saw this here. I was going, I was not expecting this. But yeah, we actually have one that's hanging way over there in our kitchen that is exactly like this, and I'd never seen anything before. I've been trying to show. So, since it was my mother's brother, I've been trying to show her, look, I found another one right in here. I don't know why this would be a common thing. But apparently, either someone's on my grandmother's version of this, or somebody else. Curious, anybody got any ideas on that? You're free to tell me. Okay. The other thing we should take note for those who are unfamiliar with the game, take note of this. This is very important for later. I can't fully remember how well I passed this and how visible it is. But remember this, and where it is along the rail. Okay, so it's in the middle of the rail, but closer to the one on the right. So the direction we're going to first go is down this hallway. Sorry, I get a little burp there. Okay, we're going to start here, because this will show you pretty much the attitude to have throughout the rest of the game.
My Grandpa Sam spent 7 years sharing a room with his dead brother, Calvin.
Yeah. And there are some questions to ask with that as we get there.
As a kid, I just assumed every house had peepholes and sealed rooms you weren't allowed inside of.
Yeah, well, I have another question. Is there another bathroom? Why is the bathroom sealed up? I still never figured that out. I mean, I know why they did it and why it's specifically that name there. But as the game creators, I don't get it as a practical side. Why would she have sealed that up? I'm guessing maybe they may have had another bathroom set on the upstairs, but otherwise, why? You'll kind of see what I'm talking on. Those who play the game, you know what I'm talking on.
The last time I was in Edith Sr.'s room, I was 10 and she was painting my portrait.
Okay, so yeah, we have these pretty dang long lives for what they had, except for one fellow there.
Whenever people ask me about my family, the first thing they always want to know about is Barbara.
Yeah, well, I have a few questions about Barbara, too. Seriously. Anybody got any ideas here? Because she's one that's gonna be baffled for a long time.
Mom must have locked the third floor stairs on the night we left.
Yeah, and I'm guessing that that's where I'd find a bathroom. There is no bathroom in this place.
Edie's father, Odin, built the original house.
And you can see there's... Wait, this is showing it out here. Okay, I see. So this is her painting the room there. Okay, so she's pregnant, and she's painting Barbara's. There's only about 2 other sets of kids she has after this, so that's either the twins or Walter. Telling us when she got her own room. So let's see. I think Molly went around the time she was, looking at the age here. She was probably about 3, so let's see. I actually have specific dates, but I don't have my notebook with me to tell me that. So I know specifically how old she was, especially for your ages it matches. But for these two, that's 1950, telling me that by the time she kind of got this room, and it probably means that she recently premiered at that point, so if it's 1950, okay, subtracting 44, so 45 plus an extra year, so 5, 6. So it was probably either... So she probably became famous around the time that they were there, so it's 1956. And yeah, if we're adding 50 to... If we take the 50, that means she also probably would have been... Well, no, she would have been 6 years old at the time, so... Probably means that she was at least starting to audition around age 6. Or 7. I'd actually probably gather... Around age... She's around, like, age 7 around here. 6 maybe, but I'd go, like, 7 or 8. Based off design.
Barbara was a child star for 2 years, until America grew out of it.
Unfortunately, she will not grow out of how many headaches she gives me whenever I have to go to her room. Okay. It's explored there. I go ahead right over here. Start over here with our first mystery.
Molly always seemed like a girl I could imagine being friends with, if she hadn't died in 1947.
Okay. True. And truth is, I probably like that kid too. And here, by the way, is Molly, so you can all get introduced. There's Molly. For those, again, who have not played the game, you have played the game, you get it.
I spent a lot of time playing in Great Uncle Walter's room. I think my mom sometimes regretted not sealing it up.
Yeah, you might. So yeah, and oh my goodness, whale shark, whale shark, whale shark. It's one of my favorite fish, okay? It's the one I will not eat. Because they're awesome. But it is interesting, so knowing Walter, he doesn't like, he's not so much about the underwater. There's nothing to indicate this is his thing. But maybe this is where he developed a fear of monsters. This may not have helped him. Even the whale sharks are super nice. She gave all the nice fishies. Look at that. Super nice fish. There's no lionfish. There's no, you know, great whites, bull sharks. Even though getting great whites generally a little more peaceful than your bull shark. And well, again, a bull shark, it just has to be a territory issue. And it's not usually going to go near people unless it has to. So, again, no shark hate here.
Lewis told me about secret passages, but I never believed him.
Didn't know how to be facing away from it. You see there's like little stairs to it, so that's interesting. Again, why is this so sea-themed? With Walter.
Turns out, my mom was really good at keeping secrets.
It's like that thing we used to say with America.
What my mom had been afraid of.
So, yeah, there's a few things. Again, to whoever just joined us, I'm just right now doing a test broadcast. Nothing serious, just kind of testing out, exploring around here, looking around and just randomly talking. Anything I kind of find. I played through this game a few times, so it's more just me trying to see if I can finally figure out some things. And again, I'm just kind of goofing off.
From the paintings on the wall, it was clear my brother Milton had been here before me.
Testing my systems and... Okay, well, I'm actually starting to wonder how much Milton knew about this family.
Reading this, maybe it sounds like I had a plan.
Probably not, but, I'm asking questions. Trying to ask them. Like, this picture shows up quite a bit. I can see there's the house. Is that Molly? Yeah, with the snake, that's Molly. Molly's looking away from the house. I'm actually starting to think that there might be something to this. So we see that as Molly's house. Could either be fishing or looking for things. Or it could be like a farmhouse, something that she wants. I'm not sure. There's something to that drawing. I don't know why. For every time I'm drawn to it.
But I had no idea what was behind that door. Just like I had no idea where all this was gonna lead.
Alright.
I grew up looking at Molly's room through the peephole. Being inside for the first time, I felt like I'd stepped behind a painting.
I knew I was going to try to get that thing. There's another phrase for Molly I think. I found a way to make it happen. But, yeah, we can see the Halloween candy's open. Though, this could have been like a piggy bank, because sometimes you would use your lunchbox that way, but... Or like a keepsake box, but... Why wouldn't she have looked in there? I don't know. So this is one of the first mysteries for those who are not familiar with this game. This is one of the very first mysteries that you come across. This is the one that will perplex. It's not the most perplexing, but it will perplex. So what we can see here is this room. The first reason I say it's not as perplexing is that for the most part you can tell the room has been rearranged. You'll be able to see what I'm talking about. So keep track of where the chair is and you'll see what I mean by I can tell it's been rearranged. I think it was messed with after her death.
Molly's gerbil had a tiny bedroom with its own even tinier gerbil cage.
What is interesting again is we also see, this is very typical again for pets, but you are seeing fecal matter in that dish. Keep track of that as well. As much as certain people are going to be going and saying, we should be looking at all the other things, you gotta look at everything she ate. And that is a clue. For those who don't know, you'll see what I'm talking about. I'm sorry that's taking this long. Because here's the thing. This isn't a kid who is likely not fit. So able to take quite a few things a bit better. Likely. So like over here, get over there. I don't know how they did that before, but they found a way to do this. Where they could actually zoom in and see what kind of trophy she had there. Okay. Can you see there? I cannot. I'm way too far from the screen. This isn't a PC, so it's not like I can just go, oh, I'm right there. But with the cheering thing, I'm giving a good guess. She could have been like on a kids' swim team or something of that nature. Or diving team. So she's not unfamiliar with, again, being fit. Breathing, wouldn't have been too hard for her. But it also would have been probably maybe an instinct. So again, the room for me, I will sometimes spend hours just examining this room. This is where my mystery is for me. Yeah, it's hard to tell. So let's see over here. Okay, so Barbara's room was already planned. So let's. Okay, so we did see some of that. So I guess that's for what, the baby room? Trying to think across. Okay, so that would be what? Calvin and so yeah, it was built for one person at the time. See what's that referring to there? So it's there, Walter's there, Walter's is under the tray. Ignore things. Okay. Somewhere in 1947. Be right there.
I got the sense Edie had spent a lot of time here. Before my mom sealed the doors.
Yep. I'm wondering what the drawing is here. Her, and it's like a sea serpent. Like a pet sea serpent. Going after his daddy. This is like where his family got inspiration for slime. Might explain where her dad's income comes from. Why is he going up? Is it her picture again or somebody else's? Because that's Molly. She's very good in that. Probably close to her father. The air balloons. She has this here? There's quite a few of those. There's a barnyard. The castle. One crayons by your bed. Fortunately, I didn't know any of the sounds of them. Okay, I never noticed the sounds down there. There, go down to the bottom. We can get to the bottom door. A nightgown in here. Side. Oh, it's a metal whistle. It's the mask. Okay, looks like we'll just have to. Let's even get into it. Mystery. What's that like?
December 13th, 1947. Dear Diary, I'll be gone soon, but I wanted to tell somebody about what's gonna happen. It started when Mom sent me to bed without dinner. I woke up and I was starving, so I looked around for something to eat. My Halloween candy was all gone.
Which, typical. We even had storages of that when we were kids. We'd store it in drawers or whatever we had and just kind of kept your secret stash.
Mom, can I come out now?
Sweetheart, it's late. Go to sleep.
Okay, so first thing, I've heard a lot of people getting at this. Like, what parent would do? It's actually, you have to remember the time period. It's one of the things I get very agitated with people with. I go, do you not remember the time period? So this is 47. Sorry, it took me a little bit, I had to remember my years. So we're looking at 1947. This kind of punishment wasn't that abnormal. This is actually kind of tame. This isn't like somebody whooped her hide. This is pretty much the equivalent of what you would call PC parenting now. This is a very good sign of patience in comparison. But locking your room might also come because she wanders. She might be a sleepwalker, we don't know. But sending her to a room without dinner, that's kind of typical. If kids are misbehaving, usually around dinner time. And like any kid, you look for what you can. You know she was already sleeping with this mess under the blanket. Well, who knows? Maybe she's like you just see how much stuff you can stuff in your bed. Okay. A lot of words up there. Okay, just test one where nothing serious going on here. Okay, so the first thing as I'm noticing she's eating care, but first off, been touched by Jeremy. And then secondly, it's right next to fecal matter.
I mind it.
I mean, it's probably been sitting out for a bit too. Good job, kid. So now I can go with bacterial infection. And 1947. Tree decorated with the ornaments. Still over Molly's room. Molly's room. Can't see anything above it. I think things have changed here. No real ornamentation on it either. Yep, still have the same drawing on the board. Again, we're just gonna look for any clues, anything that could tell us what happened this time. As we can see when she wrote that, that's December 13th. I think she died on the 17th. Okay, so other than the mass movement, I don't see the ale whistle anywhere. And a little bit of furniture rearrangement. Yeah, there's not much going on there. So I'm not quite sure what happened here. Yet.
I thought about eating Christopher, but I held back.
That probably would have been healthier than one of the other things you just said right there. Yeah, that thing right there. Well, that's interesting. Here's a little footstool, so they both have one to that area. But it's interesting that they have this pre-built. They don't know they're going to have another kid. Walter is still an unknown child, same with Calvin, and that I think they know they're going to have more kids, but kind of interesting where they're putting them. These trapdoors. Some questions to be asked. Okay, so this part, I'm going to be quiet during a certain portion. Listen for the sound. Okay, that's why we're going to start with this one. Now I want you to listen to the sound when she eats this. This is my biggest gripe, because I can tell you what that is. But first listen, and then I'll explain what I'm saying is the biggest problem with most theories that go for what may have led to a poisoning or killed her.
I ate a lot of things that night.
Did you hear that sound? Crunch. Holly berries are actually really, truly told, berries. They are very squishy. I live next to the holly plants, even if I wasn't the most likely to touch them. I've touched their berries before. They're squishy. They're also not really at this size. The other thing is, if you look close, let's have a good look here. That there is actually really thick paint. And I actually believe that really it's more likely something else we ate that caused the problem. Now, if there is something here, lead was actually a common paint element for things that would be more decorative, things that they didn't think a kid's not going to get in their mouth or it's going to be on the walls. You might use something more like that. And with a deep red color, it's a little more likely you could use cadmium. That's another one that's very poisonous. It's one reason that we're told not to look at brushes when it comes to painting in the reds, particularly with cadmium red, yellow, and orange. Now, I'm not sure if that's it, but I think what we're actually seeing is it's more likely a chemical poisoning or heavy metal poisoning. This is not a case of hollyberry poisoning. Hollyberry poisoning might cause hallucination, but with some of the other things she ate, she could have had a combo going on here. that would have led to hallucination, or if she has a high enough fever, hallucination can still occur. I'm not an expert, I'm not a doctor, but I do recognize this is not a holly branch. This is a decorative holly branch. Looking at the ends of it, and the rest of its decoration, note the two small dots at the bottom of it. Those are painted on. That's not a natural dot. That's not textured in, which is pretty simple. If you're going to do this much texturing on the leaf, you're going to put that texturing into that berry, except if it's a fake. So for everybody who wants to say the holy berry poisoning, I've just debunked it. I'm sorry. And I think the developers were trying to tell you that too. It's the sound you're hearing is that crunch. That's not a berry. That, my dears, is the sound of something more like a... let's just say I've seen kind of like when you chew on a wooden pencil. The sound you get from that is closer to what I'm hearing. These are fake berries. This is like the sound you hear when somebody eats a fake fruit. This is what you're going to get. This isn't an actual holly branch. This is a decorative. At the very least, these are berries that were pasted on it. So this is not, it's not berry poisoning, but it may be a similar poisoning. Anyone who has more expertise in this, I at least know what Katsunu could probably list it off for me, would probably be a better one to explain this. Okay. Now, this here is a higher likelihood of poisoning. With the amount of fluoride you can get here, you could end up with some problems. I'm not quite sure how much, but yeah, the wiki is completely off with this one. This one they might be actually more right on is fluoride. And yeah, that's actually more likely what would cause that, because a lot of the time kids would eat this kind of stuff here and they just get indigestion. Unless, of course, again, if there was some like lead or something else, but it takes a lot of lead to lead to a point of getting to hallucinations and problems in thought processing. So if she'd been eating these kind of things for a while, that's true. So if this branch is mostly barren of these because she ate most of them, it could explain what we are seeing. We could be seeing misbehavior, generally with kids with lead poisoning, aggression. A lot of the things that we're going to soon be seeing might hint towards aggression. And as I said, if she's had enough over a good enough period of time, and this is before so usually homes pretty much after your 70s are pretty dang good. They're pretty clean for lead poisoning, as long as it wasn't leftover stuff. They're pretty much not going to have that much lead poisoning problems. But we're talking about a home built in around 19, I forgot what year she was born, 1930s. Lead might be a common thing, and it's enough that she may have developed some symptoms, especially since we see she has a little more oral. She's a little more oral, meaning she's more likely to chew on something. It might be a way of calming herself down. So for her, as much as everybody wants to argue, I think the actual theory here should be heading towards either lead poisoning, fluoride poisoning, again a mix could also be occurring, or some form of an infection. It also could come from something earlier, but I think with the signs that we're given here, because again, a lot of the time people mistake it for lead poisoning for a lot of things, but I highly think that the idea of lead poisoning might be the key here. That, and then another poisoning occurs of another type, so something like the fluoride, or something like a bacterial infection that exacerbate what's already there. And her body's just not going to be able to fight very long. But we're going to kind of see, maybe her hallucinations can give us some clues. So one of the things I do for this is I say, listen for the sounds, and I'm going to try to find all the things I can. There's actually a little thing that I just barely found the last playthrough I did, that I'll let you see, and we'll kind of note that there's a theme going on here. And kind of keep track of who and what she talks about and how she's talking about them. Note what's somebody who might be a naturalist versus somebody who might have some other issues going on.
It was a barn swallow going back to her nest. I reached out for her. And suddenly, I was a cat.
Yeah, but the question comes if it's hallucination. My belief is we're dealing with hallucination. This is her coping with symptoms. But that's why we'll list it sounds. Maybe it is really that she turned into a cat. It's the family curse. We don't know. But we can give our best theory and hypothesis to it. So, come here, Birdie. Come here. Why am I always so bad at it? Jump. Jump. This is one reason why it took me a while to find these secret hidden little messages that somehow I never saw when it came to Molly's quotes.
I tried to be quiet, but the bird was really scared.
I'm trying to remember which place I saw it. So here we see a nice little Christmas setting. So one of my theories is she could actually be going outside the house is another one. She starts getting to hallucination phase, and then she starts doing things she shouldn't. And I think the first set is her doing those things she shouldn't. Okay.
Mom and Dad didn't even look at me.
Again, she is maybe she's about 9 years old, so she could be doing some of these acrobatics. And they may not be noticing. Or she could have been wandering in the halls, and they still may not have noticed. I think there was a way. Yeah, you're just gonna go up here, right
The
here.
babies were all gone.
Babies were all gone. That's kind of interesting for me. Now, I think there was something might have passed in her room where this would make sense. But I think there's a photo, actually, of the 3 bird eggs. Which is interesting, as how would anybody have seen that?
I jumped and I almost got her.
Again, groaning might have a similar sound. Oh, which way was missing?
I could tell she was getting really tired.
Which, again, we have to remember that at this point, Mommy has a 3-year-old. So if Mommy has a 3-year-old, she may be seeing that a 2 to 3-year-old. Again, I'd have to look. This would be one reason, or even a 3/4, she may have some jealousy issues. Mommy gets tired really easy. She's handling a lot more than she was before. But again, add something that leads to more aggressive thinking. You might get something else coming from that.
Now I was up in the big tree. I promised Dad I wouldn't climb it anymore. All I cared about was eating that mama bird.
Again, even when the parents do the right thing, I think she wouldn't have been able to think that.
I gobbled her up.
And then falling.
And suddenly, I was an owl. First, all I heard was the wind. Then I heard little teeth nibbling in the grass.
So I kind of think, again, we might be dealing with something more of a hallucinatory type point.
Rabbits.
Okay, for those who do not want to see something a little gruesome, close your eyes now.
Face looking up and seeing mine through my talons.
Except for this isn't how...
And I didn't chew one bit.
Which isn't
then I
good.
flew off to find something bigger.
Thank you, Molly. Owls don't eat this way. Owls will tear. They'll still find bone pieces, but they'll tear. So this is very interesting. And again, another mama. So I've been trying to work this one out. Yes, I've gone to an expertise because I was so...
It was too big to carry. I started choking, but I couldn't stop eating.
Okay, just whoever's watching, I'm just right now trying to mess around, doing some tests. And yes, I cannot explain why I suddenly turned to a shark. Okay, ow, 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 ow. Come on. Oh, I get down. Why to the thorny patch? Oh, come on. But yeah, there's problems with this, and the crunching, and the...
I rolled off the cliff and into the ocean.
It almost sounds like somebody, either she falls and may have hit something or hit somebody, or we might be hearing something like an emergency.
I wanted fat, juicy seals.
Close your eyes again for this little bit.
I tore off her flipper, and it tasted really good.
And again, this means maybe a taste of blood. So, like, it bleeding inside the jaw?
Grabbed on tight. When I was so hungry, I jumped out of the water.
Now I'm feeling like
I
it can't
opened my
breathe.
eyes, everything had changed. Now I was a monster, and I smelled people everywhere.
This is real lives? I don't know. But this is period appropriate.
I was big, but I moved real quiet.
Okay, those who are very fond of the man creatures do not watch. Those who are animal activists probably were having a great time. Not saying you actually were, again. Now you're alive. Okay, I put myself around through it. Oh, that's what you're drinking? Oh, that's what explains why I'm having such a hard time controlling myself right there, sir. You should tell that. But this might be a sound you hear, like, in a hospital.
I wanted to stop, but
or on a
also
ferry.
I didn't.
still working on his lyrics.
His belly was rusty razor, his belly was rusty razor, his belly was rusty razor.
That might be a little drug after this. Ooh. But yeah, I'm kind of just going with... There's something more to what we see here, and I think his verses may have something, but again, it could have just been a nice little shout out Easter egg, as it does have an achievement to go with it.
After the last passenger, I was still hungry. And to cross the water, I smelled something new. Something I had to have, so I swam towards it.
Again, I think slight hallucination to it. But smell now where we're not seeing.
The sand, and the good smell went into an old pipe.
Less and less goes to sight. Now I could do a swirly with this, but I don't want to do that. Yeah, I have a hard time.
I got closer and closer.
Well, one thing I'm seeing right now is there's a lot of dishes in here, and depending on how neat they are, that could be a bit of an issue. And to whoever's watching, I am just doing kind of a test run right now, just fooling around. Just gonna kind of see if I can theorize a little bit while I'm at it. Okay, see if there's anything interesting to our clues. Anything changed. See what I can't see. So our window here shows that the chain is broken or not. Come on, Win, you're not helping me. Okay, I'm gonna back up a little bit and maybe see if I can see. Oh, I want to know if that window's open. It's not. But I could tell you as a kid I could get through that. So, my theory, I'd give a good guess. That's kind of our major clue right there. She could have left, but may not have. Balloons. More
All of my
balloons.
stomach started growling. And suddenly, I was me again. I held my breath for a long time, but I couldn't hear anything. I think it's waiting for me to fall asleep. But it's not going to wait much longer. It needs to be, and we both know I will be delicious.
I'm not sure if I believed all of that, but I'm sure Edie would have.
So we'll kind of check back on that when we get to her gravestone. We're going to look at what date she actually has as her death date. So that's one of my things, is it's kind of like, there's a different death date. Like this. She's only maybe 10, 9, and yet... So I'm looking at the gap that could have been created. We're going to kind of see that, but I also note the chain's been taken off. But the chain was there when she was there. That's what I mean.
It, but I felt like some part of Molly was still here.
Yeah. So I kind of think that we could definitely say that with their chair. Alright. That would lead to something. Never makes it a little more difficult. But easier to regard. So let's head out.
This will be obvious later, but My mom never told me any of these stories. Edie would have, but Mom didn't like bringing up the past. So, when we adopted a stray kitten, she was the one who named him Molly. I spent a lot of time in Great Grandma Edie's room.
He's working out here with Molly and Jack. Nice and Edie. From 1940 to 1948. So this one's going with them. That's what you do with you as Barbie? That would do. New Jersey. 52, 73. Matthew. Street maybe? 81 with the features established. That's gigantic text. I can't read this. 46.
Edie knit me a new pair of gloves every year, just in time to replace the old ones. Louis died a week before we left, but Edie had already started to memorialize him.
Anybody can see 1943, 1949, training before the boys were born. And they're 2. Jared 55. Or later, so he's about 4. 1970, 1971, 2004. And there's those bird eggs. Very interesting. Very interesting.
It's like a museum.
Yeah, including a whole entire basic half of the house that doesn't work for the factor that it wouldn't show things. No medications, more medications. Papers, issues. So I'm guessing she liked to sleep. Search this side of the bed. Showing the great majority. So death in the hereafter. Oh, I loved these things when I was a kid.
For 500 years, the Finches have been famous throughout Norway for their fortune and misfortune. Odin Finch buries the latest victims of the family curse, his wife Ingeborg and their newborn son, Johan. On January 7th, 1937, he set sail with his family and his house, hoping to leave the curse behind. But 40-foot waves off the coast of Washington send the house and Odin to the bottom of the sea. Odin's daughter Edie, with husband Sven and baby Molly, step ashore on their new home, Orcas Island. Odin Finch is the first to be buried in the new family cemetery. His daughter Edie is already dreaming of a new Finch house.
So, for me, I kind of don't think she was very adamant about it.
Whatever's wrong with this family, it goes back a long ways.
But I'm not sure how much. I think it almost might have ended with Odin. Except for, I think Molly's death might have been a little trigger point. A singular trigger, but looking at how she's memorializing her, and what we're going to see later, and to the point that somebody feels like they have to go and seal up these doors, tells me that probably there was something more to this story than what we think. Yeah, I think there was a bit more to it. Oh, see, she always wears the hats and with a little construction. And again, dream house, please make. Just make the laundry room a lot more convenient, that's all I ask. You know, put it like on the same floor. Or make a laundry chute. Yes, but instead of making just a slide, you should have made it a slide that becomes a laundry chute if you want it to, too. See, that would have saved you. Okay, probably wouldn't have, but I at least can trade.
Edie gave a big interview about a mole man living under the Finch house. My mom was furious.
Yeah, I wonder why she might have been. Wonder.
I hadn't thought of myself as Edith Jr. for a long, long time.
So, one of the things I'm noting is I look at see what's being put as the main things. Link here. Salmons. Yeah. So I think actually, as much as she was into theory, I think nearing the end, it was more of an accepted truth, I think, for her. It was more of an accepted truth. And the question is she, somebody who's really trying to get the media, she loves attention. She loves being the storyteller. Or is there something more to her? Because I'm looking at the order of tapes. And this is the thing, you gotta love this with this game, is how much I can look at these little details. You see how long I take just looking at tiny little details. They took their time to put that in. And I thank them for it. And you see, she put on the top, the ones at the bottom seem to be more like recordings of newscasting. But everything nearing the top is actually family movies. Things that are simpler than that. Edith Jr. Lake Trip, Sans Medal Ceremony, Night for Bigfoot, which is Barbara's film, Sans Photo Awards, Home Movies, and then her stuff's at the bottom. You usually do that because you're stacking as you go along. So she started with those, but then came to the ones of the family in the end. It may show where her real focus was, but maybe not. As we look through other clues, we come to different ideas.
One summer, they evacuated the island, but Edie refused to go. For a few weeks, she was a celebrity.
And that might be a thing, although at the same time, it would not surprise me if my grandma did something similar to that. Sorry, okay. It's getting close to dinner time. So I'm looking through this, and I'm seeing you have quite a few different interesting points here. You have, I've noticed, I've looked throughout this whole house, and there's only 2 times where she's really mentioning specific people and concepts, and that's Barbara and Molly. And this is why I think we're going to be coming across Barbara, and you're going to see why I think she may be a trigger. She may be the thing that drove the family to madness. But again, it'll take some time to figure that out. The mural sketches, on the other hand, I kind of think that's what happens that's just more ideas that she had before, but I think some of this area she didn't visit as much as she got older. And now you can tell when the house is built in 1937. I'm going to tell you that is something, look up on the wiki if anybody wants to, look on the wiki. figure out when Molly is born, figure out when they leave from Norway, figure out when they built this house, and something doesn't match up. It's really difficult to kind of figure out what probably happened there. I'm not kidding, I'm still working on it.
Edie told people Sven was killed by a dragon. She could also have said he was building a dragon-shaped slide that collapsed. She could have, but she didn't.
So here, I think... So here's something that I did learn. So apparently, if we look at the date here, I'm not good at reading it. First one to figure out what the date is. Apparently, this incident here happened... it's interesting. I would have thought it would have been Sam. But, the key of celebration and all that. This, and notice the ER at the end there? This was actually for Walter. I think it was a way for Sven to try to help him after the tragedy of his sister. And his brother and his sister, and his other sister, to get over these tragedies that had happened. He was trying to get him something that was magical, very clearly far more safe in general than Sven's building techniques, but generally, and something that would get him to be able to come down, ways in the sense he could avoid things that were scary, and it would straighten to a pond that was on the deeper end of it, so it wouldn't be so scary for him. But yeah, I think again, tragedy did happen, and that made it even harder for him, but I don't even think for Walter he associated Sven's death with it, with the monster. I think he just associated a monster. So that would also tell me that it's not the same monster maybe Molly sees. But this would explain maybe why Molly sees a different kind of monster than a sea monster. You know, one with scales and that, because what we saw with her monster was it was tentacles. Maybe it's something more. I don't know, but this is something where we have to also question, because remember, it's Edith telling us the story. So Edith is just seeing what Molly may have seen as a monster. So Edith may have been looking around a room. What would she see as a monster? Oh, look at the jellyfish. Okay, jellyfish connected to an octopus. Who knows? But if we are to take things more closely to face value per journal, not as Edith's interpretation, but rather the writer's interpretation, that could be something that might have misled Walter. Oh, and the baby bathing change. Oh, my grandma always has one of those. Too good. Too good. I'm sorry, baby's just baby. And by the way, congratulations to a new young couple who had a beautiful baby girl. You guys earned some praise there. You earned some praise. Because that is this is a hard time to have a baby on top of already just having a baby.
Even in her 90s. Sometimes Edie seemed a lot younger than my mother.
Yeah, probably. I can't remember. Is there anything else I figured out that I could look at in this room? Wait, is this the house blueprint? Yeah, again, it was built to be more of a two-story, and you can see basement area. Right side elevator. Where's that elevator? I want to use the elevator. Actually, looking at this might explain something from the basement. So I'll explain the basement thing I have an idea for when we get there. You can see there's Lewis's card, folk tales, and I'm not sure if it's Edith, but I really am kind of torn if it's Edith making these little guys or if it's Lewis. Usually when Lewis is brought in, these guys come in.
The only trace Grandpa Sam's first wife Kay left on the house was the pink bathroom. It was a pretty big trace.
So, yep, there are shout-outs here to a certain thing that's going to be happening later. Now here's the thing that does surprise me is we have this bottle here. This is how you get to what we're going to call Edie's mystery here is that pill. Look at all the pills, and we can definitely tell she took her morning ones, and then none of this. Yeah, that's the thing. Usually the blue would be indicating that that's daytime. Probably nighttime, so it's very interesting. I want to know kind of what day she died to kind of also go and look back at the calendar. This is how many clues you can get lying around here. Did she make something else? Is there a reason that the rest of these pills are here, not inside of there? What's going on? It looks like she was just trying to clean something here out. It's kind of... Could it be this? Is this what's in there? Or, unfortunately, sorry for the gross up, but... No. In there, you would have to use the bleach to get out. And the bubble bath in there, of course, she was young. Edith was young. But then we have this right here. Why would this door be sealed? I still don't get this door being sealed. I can understand Edie doing this to basically get back a little bit, but there I don't get it. Okay, so I'm gonna open this right here. With all these secret passages, yes, built me this house.
There's a secret in this bathroom. It's in the last place you would look. It isn't in the cupboard. It's hidden in this book.
Encourage us reading. If you want to get your secret passage, you gotta read. Just, a little bit more shoring up on the sides here, making it an actual secret passage, but without any chance of splinters.
Sven gave Sam an old camera he'd refurbished. He never put it down.
Unfortunately, I know most people who probably are gonna really be watching this. Yeah, I am somebody who's a bit of a photo nerd. Build this for me now! I hope this sounds of it. Oh my goodness. It's like, look, you've got a whole entire wash station here. You can easily set up your trays for the wash stations. Look at that, look at that. Just awesome. Just awesome.
Okay. Melissa, you want to set the table, please?
You got it. Okay, you're gonna end it here.